This playlist is what I use to take my aim to the next level and reach Voltaic Masters for the second time. I broke all of my plateaus after playing on this playlist for a few days, and I'm going to teach you guys what it is, how you should be playing it, and how you can change it based on your current skill level. Now, before I can just give you guys the playlist code, I have to explain to you the 3 parts it's broken down into. The first part is warm-up. For the warm-up, we have 2 maps. We have Smooth Your Wrist and VT Anti-Centering Valorant. These 2 maps are meant to warm up your aim, warm up your wrist, and warm up your arm when you play. And as you might know from my other videos if you watch them, I used to have an issue with my wrist almost jumping whenever I aim. It felt like it would shake whenever I tried to aim. And playing these maps every single day with different sensitivities allowed for me to smooth out my wrist and make it so I can make fine adjustments without that jitteriness that I had before. The first 2 maps are pretty simple on the way you play it. If you know that your issue is your wrist and you want to fine-tune that specifically, what I do is I raise my sensitivity very high so that whenever I'm playing the maps, I basically only use my wrist to aim at the target. And all you really do is smoothly track it. It's pretty simple. But if I want to use my arm to practice, I lower my sensitivity and then focus on using my arm whenever I'm tracking the 2 targets. It's pretty much an issue-specific warm-up. You have to decide what your problem is for that. The next part of the playlist is the precision part. I've been really into TAC FPS games lately, and I've noticed that my hit confirmation kinda stinks and my kill confirmation stinks. So I started loading up 4 different maps. The first map is 6 Sphere Hipfire Voltaic Extra Small. This map is really great for forcing you into proper technique and really working on those fine adjustments to be very precise. And I've noticed that really hard maps like this really translate into real games. And I actually just had a friend of mine DM me about how much he loved this playlist and how much he loved the 6 Sphere Hipfire in it. But it makes sense because people like him that play CSGO or Valorant, it's really good for that. So if you play those 2 games, it'll be amazing for you. The next one up is VT Multiclick 120, Pokeball. Now the reason why I play this one is because I'm able to make fast, far flicks and focus on my hit confirmation and my speed at the exact same time. If you've never played a Pokeball map before, I recommend that you hold down left click the entire time, similar to what you would do if you were spraying in a real game, and you want to be able to make smooth, fine adjustments between each target, and you want to focus on getting faster and faster every single time. And then the last 2 maps are VT One Wall 3 targets and VT One Wall 5 targets. These are more of benchmarks for me, so I see where my aim is at currently and see how much I've really improved. And it also helps me see what my specific issues are. Now the final set of playlists are the ones that are really helpful to me. And these smoothed out my aim and it made me feel so much better whenever I played. The first set of them are 2 track stop maps. Now this is where the customization comes in. Almost all of the maps that I tell you, you guys can look up on Kovaaks, and if you look them up, there will be easier versions of them up there, and you can change this playlist for whatever your skill level is. But for me, I did Track Stop Grandmaster and Track Stop Grandmaster Close. These 2 maps help me focus on my smoothness and my ability to track a target and quickly react to a direction change. Because before I started playing these every day, whenever I would track a target, especially in track stop maps, I would follow the target and then he would change directions and I would almost like vibrate on him, shaking on him, because it was like my brain couldn't realize, you can stop, he's not moving, calm down, you know? I was very panicky on it. So I made sure to have a regular hard version and a close version so that I could train both of those problems. And it helped me smooth out my aim and it helped me realize how to go from a fast flick to a smooth follow. Now the next 3 maps are mostly for fine control and fine motor movements. And what I mean by that is these 3 maps, the targets move in ways that train specific issues. Like the first one, which is Smooth Sphere Master. Smooth Sphere is basically if you've ever played against Smoothbot, it's the same thing, but a much smaller target, so you have to be much more precise with your long tracking. And what you do is you just follow the target and make smooth motions. You don't want to flick at them, which I've seen many people do. You don't want to try and flick to keep up. You want to try to keep up in one smooth motion, not really flicking at them or trying to jitter on them to try and get points or try to get accuracy up. For the next one, it's Control Sphere. Grandmaster. This one is more of tiny movements where the bot is making small micro movements. And this I found helped a lot with my in-game precise movements. Like whenever I was doing micro adjustments in-game, I found that this kind of tracking helped me a lot because my body was able to make very small and precise movements because of it. And then the third one in this tier is Precise Fear, which this one I use because it was almost a perfect combination of both of them. You wouldn't know if the bot was making long, far movements or short, precise movements. And this really forced me into being very adaptable with my aim, because I was able to read a target and change the way I was tracking based on what they were doing, which is more similar to what happens in real games. And then the final three I specifically use to help myself track targets in depth. And what that means is a lot of targets in Kovaaks and different maps like that, they all move in the XY plane. So they're only moving left, right, and up and down. And I added 3 maps that also move in the Z plane, which means moves towards you or moves away from you. Because I've noticed when I was playing real matches, anytime a target moved towards me or away from me, it would mess me up and I would completely whiff. So I added Precision XYZ Master, I added Fugla XYZ Less Blinks Grandmaster, and I added DDTV XYZ Far, Very Slow, Small. All 3 of these maps forced me into playing in ways that I'm very uncomfortable, and it forced a lot of improvement out of me. And honestly, if I had to take any map out of all of these, it would be these last 3, because it almost forced improvement out of me, because it was really hard to play a lot of them. The first time I played them, I scored way below average, because it was hard, it was really strange, and it was something I've never really done. Now that you know what the maps are and how I played them, I can share with you guys my little secret that helped me get better and better without increasing the difficulty of the maps. Now, you may notice when I give you the playlist, all of them only have 1 run. And you might say, 1 run a day, I can't improve with that. But I didn't. I didn't do 1 run a day. First time I started the playlist, I used my best sensitivity and I would grind on each of the maps until I set a high score that I was really confident in. Once I set that high score, I would move on to the next. And I do this for every single one. After that, I would go to, let's say, I play 60 centimeters per 360, which if you don't know is a pretty slow sensitivity. If I play on that, usually fast sensitivities I suck on. So I go to like 30 cm per 360, which is half of my sensitivity. You don't have to do exactly half, but do a sensitivity that you suck on, you know? If you're a really fast sensitivity player and you hate slow, then play on slow. And then the next day, or you could do it the same day just to get some reps in, you play on all the maps again, but you try to beat that score. The first day, you probably won't be able to beat the score. The second day, you probably won't be able to beat the score. Maybe by the 3rd or 4th, you'll finally beat that score on all the maps. Or you could do most. You don't have to do all. But once you do that, you lower your sensitivity again, or you raise it again. And what this does is it'll focus on your biggest issues in your aim, which for some people is smoothness, for others it's not being able to move their arm quick enough. But it'll focus on your issues and it will improve them because that's the only way you'll be able to make up the score. And it makes it so you don't have to increase difficulty of maps. You can just create fake difficulty or artificial difficulty by doing that. Now, speaking of artificial difficulty, that's just one of the many things that I taught in this video where I shared my 15 years of FPS experience and some of the many things I learned. So check it out and have a good one, everyone. God bless you.